Hello YouTube and welcome back. In this video, now we're going to finally be talking about how to cut the end gap, how to set it or file the end gap. We've already discussed how the difference in temperature and materials changes the end gap, so that's already been discussed. Let's now talk about just getting down to it and setting the end gap or filing the end gap. It was called filing the end gap because, believe it or not, back in the day, you took a file and you filed the end gap. You don't need a special tool. You don't need anything more than a simple file. I'm going to give you a little tip because if you're at home and you're going to just do a set of rings for one engine, you don't need to buy anything. A file you probably already have. If not, it's the most inexpensive thing that you can buy. So, not the most expensive thing you can buy, but you know what I mean. What I like to do is put a file in a vise. It doesn't have to be a portable handheld vise. Put it on your vise at your table. And I like to use the top of the vise as a place where I can actually hold and slide the ring back. Put some tape on this side so you don't cut the ring as you're filing as well. Lower it down. And now you can find your angle and just slide back. And just slide back on the ring. Check your end gap. We're going to check, make sure we're cutting straight. And you can just sit there and file the end of the ring. That's why they call it filing a set of rings. Voila! Filing a set of rings is still acceptable, and you can still do as nice a job as any other piece of equipment with a simple file. If you're going to do more than one engine, this would take a while to sit there and file every ring. Like I said, if you're doing one engine, perfectly acceptable, and you can do a quality job with a file. If you're going to start doing more than one engine, or you want to speed it up a little bit, then we have this ring file. And this ring file has a blade in the center. You can clamp it to a vise. I like to clamp it to my engine stand. I'll show you how I like to do it. And then you have a wheel that you can turn and actually cut the end gap. You want to cut into it, especially if it's a coated ring, and you just cut the end gap and check the style. So we can use a file. We can use an actual ring cutter. I'll put some examples of different ones that you can purchase. These would make great Black Friday Christmas gifts for the home machinist or engine builder. Let's go to the shop and I'm going to show you how I use this piece of equipment right here to cut a set of rings for a Ford 351 Cleveland. Let's go. What are we going to use to square the ring in the bore? And I think now you understand how important it is to have the ring square in the bore. I'm going to use this particular tool right here. What are we going to use to cut the ring end gap? This is the tool that I'm going to use to cut the ring end gap. I'm an analog guy in a digital world. It's mechanical. I had this forever. The ring goes in right here. You squeeze it, you turn it, it cuts the ring end gap. One of the problems with the ring end gap cutter like this is the thickness of the blade. While very thin, you're cutting both sides when it's squeezed. When you open it, we want to squeeze this gap and look up into the light and see that our gap are parallel and not like this and like this. So a lot of times I'll even put it in here and cut just one side of the ring. This is analog. It still works. I've had this since I was a kid. I think I've done enough of talking and we need to start doing some work. All right. So I'm at 9.5. Let's call it a 9. I'm at 9. So right now we have 9 thousandths. What do we want for the top ring? We want 26. How do we get to 26? We did our math. It's a 430-inch bore. We timed it times 0.0065, which is 6.5 thousandths. That equals 0.026, which is 26 thousandths. Our second ring is a 30-inch bore, so it's 4.030. What do I know? Leave me a comment. While you're at it, stop right now, hit the like and subscribe button. Okay, all my rings are in now just where we're at. I've checked them all, they're all at 9. Now I'm going to go ahead and use my ring cutter, which I like to mount at the back of the engine stand. You could mount it to your table, you could mount it to your hip. I mean, that's just up to you. And I have it right here. So I'm going to grab a ring, Also, a little tip of the day. I'll come a little closer for this tip of the day. Different materials are going to cut differently. If you have a harder material in the top ring than the second ring, and you already, what I like to do is I like to cut one and ease up on it real slow, and then I already kind of get an idea. Eight turns gets me within 1/1000 or two. I can go kind of quickly and do 8 turns on each one. If I don't pay attention and think that different rings have different materials and are harder to cut, when I get to the second ring, which is not moly embedded and it's just a nice soft second ring, I might cut too much because I was using the 8 turns gets me this much. It depends on how tight you squeeze. It depends on how fast you turn it. So I can't tell you on this video that so many turns are going to take away so many thousands. No. Y'all are going to have to figure that out. It depends on your finesse. Are you a brute and you get on there and get onto it? 1 turn may take off 1/1000. Are you a real finesse on it? It may take 10 turns to take off 1/1000. That's up to you and your hand. Anyway, that being said, a little tip of the day. I'm going to go ahead and cut my ring. You're probably thinking, go ahead and cut these rings. And I'm going to ease up on it, counting the turns. Then once I get pretty close on the first one, I already know I can go through all the other 7 and get me that close really quick. But I am going to cut each ring per cylinder. Once I get it pretty close, then I'll actually stop and I'll actually finesse in each one. Another tip of the day. The gap when we squeeze this, I'm always looking up at the light and I can see between my eye and the light up there. Besides, now I got a white dot on my eye. I can really see real easily looking straight up at the light at my end gap. If you take a brand new ring and you squeeze it, what you will see is the end gap is square. See that little gap there? When I start squeezing it, it stays square. You get on there and start cutting and you get on there and just want to knock it out really fast, your gaps are going to be all over the place. If the gap on the top is wider, it don't matter that the feeler gauge went in real tight at the bottom. You got a real wide gap. Your air is going to bleed right through that. This is an air pump. This is like an air compressor. So we want these gaps nice and square. If they're opened like that, it's going to rely on the tightest spot. But up here, I could have 30, 40 thousandths end gap. Air is going to just flee. It might even whistle on you. So we don't want to do that. How can we keep it square without a special tool, special machines, and without the years of experience to where you can cut it pretty good, pretty flat? You know how? Leave one end alone. See how dark it is? Only cut one end. This end is still square. So if I'm only cutting this end, the next time I go up there and I look at the light, I go, whoa, I want a little crooked here because this end is still my guide. It's flat. The next time I'll cut a little more on the top. And that gives you a reference point. If you cut both ends, or you end up doing this, it's just too difficult. So the thickness of the blade, if you were to squeeze on it, it's still going to not cut it perfectly flat. So very important tip of the day, help y'all out, and it's really you're going to be way ahead of the game by leaving one end alone. And always use that end as your gauge. Cut one side only. And you know, oh, I'm holding it too crooked, I'm holding it too straight. If you're doing this on a file, with the file on your vise, and you're sitting there filing this, you'll know that you can follow the one side that's tighter than the other side. Only cut one side. Tip of the day, little window up there, tip of the day. Also, different materials, tip of the day, will cut differently. Another tip that you might not know until you ruin a set of high-dollar rings. High-dollar rings that are plated, you don't want to cut away from the plating. It's a cast ring with the plating on it. If I'm cutting away, I'm going to chip that plating away. So what are we going to do? We're going to cut in towards it. Cut from the outside in. Anything that's plated, cut from the outside in. We won't chip the plating. It doesn't matter how beautiful you make that end gap and the end of the ring here is all chipped up because you went out on your cutting and you lifted it up and chipped the plating off of it. Don't want to do that. Cut into the plating. Tip of the day 3. Is that 3 tips of the day? All right. I think I've done enough and I'll see y'all on Tuesday. I'm just joking. I wish. Okay. There we go. We know that we're at 9. There we are. We know that we want to be at 26. Okay, now it's set up right. I hope you saw that. I'm right-handed. You may be left-handed. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put my ring in there. I got a nice lighted environment and I can actually see the gap that I have. I'm going in towards the ring. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. If you can see that, I have a shiny side of the ring. I now have a shiny side that's cut, and I also have a side that's not cut, not shiny. It's dark right there. And there's my cut end gap right there. Also now is when I'm going to squeeze this and I'm going to look up at the light and see how I did. I want to see, is the gap wider on the bottom or the top, so that I can change. And I want to see if y'all can see that or not, but that gap is perfect. It's hard to squeeze and look. Can you see that? Can you see any light through there? I'm opening it a little bit. There's no light through there. So I'm on camera, and most people won't cut a set of rings on camera. Most people won't cut a set of rings and send it out the door, because we know that when you start assembling, you're going to critique my work. So most shops can't, I don't want to say they can't hit the numbers. It's very difficult to get them all perfectly square and all perfectly in the size. We'll do that, but you're not Mercury Charlie's. If you're Mercury Charlie's, we'll do that for you. Anyway, okay. I encourage you to go look at Mercury Charlie's. Pretty cool, out of Austin, Texas. So what do we got? I got a ring that I cut. What did I cut? I cut 5 turns. What does that tell us? What do we got? We were at 9. We're now at 10. 11, was it 11? 12. A tight 13. We can kind of estimate that every 5 turns takes away about 4 thousandths. You don't want to get carried away, but let's see if that works as well. Put it in here, using the light to get my gap where I see it's nice and square. I'm turning in towards the ring. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm looking up at the light. I'm really liking that. $15 right there. So we're getting closer. Let's do another 5. What is that going to give us? 4. We're still in the window of where we're not cutting too much. We're going for 26. Get my gap there. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. We're at 15 turns so far, and we're at 16. A nice tight 16. So why don't we stop at 16 and go ahead and take them all to 16, and then we'll ease up back up on it. And we're already at 15 turns. So I like to use that side. Just tell me what size it is. Look at it. We're square. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Cappuccino. All right. Y'all might know what reference I'm talking about, and you may not. I don't know. All right, we're at 17. Not bad. What did I just do? Give you another little tip of the day. The 4th tip of the day. I don't know how many tips of the day this is. What did I just do? So 15 turns. Now I'm going completely 15 instead of 5, 5, and 5. It ended up making it 1 more than what I was going for. Still, I'm easing up on it, and it speeds stuff up a little quickly. Also, you get the hang of it. It's kind of therapeutic. Turn on the radio, put some classical music on, and just ease up on it and do them all, and you'll start getting in the rhythm, and you'll start be like, man, I can pat myself on the back if I'm just in on it. Don't worry if you pass about a little bit. We still have a little ways to go. Let me go and try another one. We're at 17. Pull this puppy out. Dot to the top. I like, because then I pick the side that I'm going to cut. I'm going to square it up to where I see it's nice and square going down. We're going into the ring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Once again, cappuccino. All right. We're back to our 16. Awesome. So that's pretty much getting us where we want to be every time. The faster you go, the more pressure you put. It's all about the feel in your hand. Stop it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. What do we say? Cappuccino. And then look at your gap. All right. I can go a little bit on the tip. It's just very slightly. I'm still easing up on it. If you can see the gap, it's slightly tighter on the tip. And I'm talking about just slightly. You wouldn't even be able to, most people would think that's amazing. I'm just seeing it. I can see a slight air gap right at the bottom, which tells me my tip needs just a hair. What? No hair on your tip, sorry. Wow, 16 and the tip needed just a hair. How are we gonna fix that? Real easily. We're using the one that we don't cut as our baseline. I'm gonna put it there. I'm gonna slightly look at my gap, tip. I didn't say it, but I'm sure y'all are saying it at home by now every time I cut one. Cappuccino. All right, if I was going for 16, I'd be pretty good. I wanted 17, pretty good. When you go to there, what my math actually came out to be 26.18. I'm still going to use 26. If it was 26 remember math, 5 or 6, then I'd use 27. I don't know where I went to that, but there I am. If I had done ring end gap in high school, I would probably gone a lot further in life. Okay. Okay, all right, okay. All righty. What do we got over here? Can y'all tell me how many turns I'm going to do this? I heard some of y'all out there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I heard that too, cappuccino. All right. Ooh, nice. Ooh. Sound like Richard Rollins there for a little bit, didn't I? Dot. Nice and flat. Which way are we going? In. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and a 15. Cappuccino. Oh, cappuccino. It was a little pinky out. Probably about 15. Good. I can ease up on it. Give it one more. How are we doing on the gappy? Oh. Nice. One nice. 1, 2. Yeah. I got y'all doing that, don't you? Cappuccino. Voila. How did I go? Okay. So it's working out good. I'm actually enjoying cutting rings with y'all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Looking at the gap. Or the lack thereof. Damn. Papa's getting good. Oh, sorry. Don't think I didn't hear y'all. Cappuccino. Whoa. You want to try that at home? I encourage you, please. I'm encouraging you to try this at home. So when I say don't try this at home, I mean to everybody else. Y'all that are with me, you now can say that you know what you're doing. You've been in the shop. You've been here with me. Because of what's going on right now, you can't be there. So this is a way that you can be here in the shop with me, enjoying this. I hope you're enjoying it. I really do. Which way are we going? We're going in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Check your end gap or the lack thereof, papas. I don't know, y'all thinking, what is he just learning at the light and you don't even want to believe this. I almost want to encourage you to do this just so that you can see how. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see that. The lack of gap. The lack of gap. Remember what Smokey says? Seat gap. All right. Voila. Okay, so we hit them all at 16 and we got one at 17. I don't encourage you to do the counting method for the final. But if I had been doing this for the final and I was shooting for 16, naturally aspirated times 4 on a 4-inch bore would be about 16 to 18. I would have hit them right now, and one is at 17. So most people wouldn't be able to get that, and I say that, I know that y'all could. So let's go ahead and ease up on it and get us up to closer to 29. If you ease up on it, it's 26, not 29. I heard y'all thinking earlier it was 26. I'm glad y'all are with me. So, easing up on it gives you a lot. It's like cutting rings for 4 engines. You've already got the experience of cutting rings for 4 engines on one. You could try to go all the way to the 26 now. You're going to get it. You're going to get all crooked. You're going to get past it. You're going to get frustrated. You're going to throw the rings away, or you're going to put them in there with all loose. And it would have been better off if you just put a standard set of rings. We're not going there. Y'all are going to be encouraged and empowered to start off slow. Pick a number. Pick a number like I did right now, 16, and go to 16. Now, I can pick a number, let's go to 18 and ease up on it and have fun and go make them all 18. Pick another number, 20, and go ease up on it and get to 20. And make it a game. Keep going at it and learning, and by the time you get to the end, you're going to be really good at it. Or try to get it out of the way and knock it out. If that's the case, you shouldn't be building a motor. Embrace it, enjoy it. If it's a frustration to you and you don't really want to be doing it, don't. There's plenty of people out there that really do want to be doing it. Let them do it. I encourage you to do it, and I encourage you to enjoy doing it. And it should be a pleasure. If it's not, please stop, walk away. There's other things that you could do. I love to bake cakes, you know. We won't go there. So, anyway. We know that 5 equals 4 in my particular case. Let's see if that keeps on working. We're at 16. If I gave it 5 more turns, we would be at 20. Let's see. We're going to cut only the side. I like to use, just for reference, because I need to repeat. I'm a little dyslexic. I don't like to mix up stuff. But anyway, so I have to repeat. I'm also, there's a name for it. I'm not really good at school. Anyway, I like to use the dot and cut that side all the time. So repetition is what makes me feel good. Stop it. Oh, y'all, stop it. Y'all are really getting, now I'm starting to hear y'all's jokes. Alrighty. Man, let's keep going. I will probably fast forward this whole thing and you won't hear any of this stuff, but I do encourage you to, I wish that you could fast forward and slow it down when you wanted to, as opposed to me having to fast forward and you might see something you want to see. Okie dokies, pokies. Are you with me so far? Do I need to keep going with the video on or off? I think I'll leave it on and let you kind of ease up on it. Ease up on it. I'm going to just stop it so I have an ending point.